Well, good afternoon. Good afternoon. It's Dr. William Curtis with the Energy Tribe and Future Focus Family Medicine. Hey, I'm always talking about locally grown, homegrown food because obviously it's healthier and it's a great way to cut your grocery bills. And I wanted to show real quick something I have at my farm that is kind of a low input gardening system. I'm not a big gardener because there's a lot of input sometimes with gardening. This is actually called a keyhole garden. I used an old rotten cattle trough that had a crack in the base, and I actually sunk it into the ground about 8 inches. But what this is called a keyhole garden. It's an African technique. Uses a basket in the center that sometimes you can actually put wicker or something in here to hold things in here better. But basically, you put your scraps, your clippings from the garden or from your from the kitchen, you put that in the center as a compost and you water in the center. And what happens is then you plant around the bases of it, around the outside. Everything's always within reach, so you don't have to strain your back. It's kind of at knee level, and it's much easier to weed it. I actually pulled some weeds that were in this out earlier and it took about 2 minutes. So what I'm doing right now, this one is very dry. These are pepper plants that have come back year after year. This is its 4th year, same pepper plant. Rosemary, going crazy in here. I'm gonna have to figure out something to do with a bunch of rosemary. Maybe I'll dry it. Maybe you guys can pick up some in the clinic, in the pharmacy there. Or maybe we'll just cook with it. It keeps well, especially when you dry it. But what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna go ahead, it's first day of fall, so I'm gonna go through and I'm going to put some, maybe some lettuce crops and stuff like that in here. I'm starting a little late, but if I put them in, I think they'll take off just fine. And really protected from animals. I have chickens and stuff. They don't typically get in here. And as you see, what you do is you water it in the center. And then as it soaks in, it hydrates the whole tank. This system uses 40% less water than a typical gardening or mist system. That's why they use this in Africa. And if you Google online, the keyhole garden, you'll come up with something like this that looks similar. There's very exotic ones and really fancy looking ones, but I'll look at it from a couple different angles. I've got it right here next to my famous lemon tree I've written about before, which is going crazy. And I've got young gardeners killing my video here. Okay. Anyway, that's all. It's a keyhole garden, easy. People can do this at home, even in an urban setting. You don't have to have a farm. You would not believe how much food grows out of this, and maybe I'll show that a little later in the fall. That's all.